Welcome back to my Star Wars Legends Expanded Universe timeline chronological rating, where I go through all of the Expanded Universe according to my timeline order and rank them all out of 10 stars. We're finally at the end of Dawn of the Jedi Prisoner of Bogan on the 5th issue, and this issue, of course, will pick up where we left off, and we are on Shikakwa, where Baron Volnos, nicknamed Ox Ryo, is, and the scheming Dagan Locke has got Shea Coda captured because Zesh saved her from drowning, but then Zesh turned her into Dagan. So even though he showed his feelings for her by saving her, he also is still working for Dagan, and they are taking Shea in to Volnos Ryo, and they're offering her because Jedi. They're offering her as a sign of that they have strength, because Jedi are hard to deal with, and he's showing, we have this measly Jedi, so if you join forces with me, we can easily take them. And then we get the backstory of Dagan Locke. Dagan Locke was partnered with Queen Hadia during the Shikakuan conflict, and he even seduced her and then stabbed and killed her. So he won her trust. He was in the inner circle when she was rebelling against the Jedi, and then he just stabbed her, leaving her dead, and butchering all of the people around her in the process, effectively ending the war single-handedly. He was the Jedi in disguise on their side. And meanwhile, elsewhere on Shikakwa, Trill is closing in on Zesh with Seknos Wrath, who she saved. Seknos is still under the impression that she's not especially great at fighting. She feigns kind of weakness, but she shows some good marksmanship. But so they meet up with Hawkrio and Rory Fenn, who were in pursuit of the captured Shea. And so Seknos and Trill rendezvous with them, kind of by chance. It wasn't exactly planned. And then they burst in on the negotiations between Zesh, Dagan Locke, Volnos Ryo, and Shea Coda, the captive there. And of course, a battle ensues, and in the aftermath of the battle, there is this awesome fight between Seknos and Zesh, which leaves Seknos just almost dead. And this is where Trill runs to Seknos' side, see if he's alive. Zesh escapes with Shea Coda, who's unconscious. So now you've got Seknos and Shea unconscious. Trill tends to Seknos while Zesh escapes with Shea Coda, and he locks eyes with Trill, and he has no memory of her, and which is all according to Trill's plan, And also Dagan knocks Rory Fenn out, angering Hawkrio, and Hawkrio and Dagan Locke have another battle after the previous issue, and Hawkrio is giving into his anger a little bit. He's a little bit angry, and in this issue, Hawkrio's angry expressions looked just like Cade Skywalker. The art that Jander Sema drew for him, he just looks like angry Cade for some reason. His features are very strikingly similar. Meanwhile, elsewhere, Dagan's about to be killed by Hawk, and Zesh steps into the fray, and then Zesh gets the better of Hawk, and Zesh is going to kill Hawk, and Shea steps in and saves him, and then Zesh kind of turns on Dagan because Shea convinces him that Dagan is not to be trusted. So Zesh and Dagan have this fight, and Dagan does the mind thing where it's really hurting Zesh's mind, but then Zesh manages to overcome the nightmare things because his mind is empty. It's a void. Dagan loses himself in Zesh's mind while trying to infiltrate Zesh's mind, which I thought was really cool, a really cool plot point. I thought that was just kind of a really cool way to get to have Dagon defeated for this issue, defeated by trying to use that trick of his, but then Zesh's mind is so void and empty, he loses himself in it, and it just backfires. I thought that was excellent. Probably one of my favorite plot points of the comic series so far, and then, Zesh wants to kill him. Shay says, no, come back from the dark side, and they capture Dagon. Then Hakuryu and Master Ketu are talking, and they're looking at the Rakatan skulls, and they're worried about what's coming. And then Ketu asks, did you see the vision that Dagon Locke saw of a dark army coming in and him having a Force Saber, and fighting against the Rakata? Because that was Dagon Locke's vision that made him go crazy, that had him sent to Bogan. And Hawk says that he's convinced that he may have shared the vision, but he didn't want to say because he didn't want to be sent off to Bogan. So he says also that he saw Zesh in his vision, and that's all like, whoa, what does that mean? What are the implications? Meanwhile, Trill sends off a little, tiny, ship droid drone thing that looks like a little bird. It's really weird, and she sends it, and it zips across the galaxy, and then it's recovered by the Predor. I can't remember which Predor it is. Skalness. Skalness is the Predor currently, and you can identify him by he has a big scar across his face, and so Trill sends the little drone thing to make contact with Predor Skalness, and Skalness receives it, and she tells him that there's warrior Jedi, but that she's learned of their weaknesses, that they, don't use the dark side, and that they have balance, and that they should be easy to take, and that they are fools, and that the Infinite Empire will rise in glory, And then the last panel is one of my favorites. Skalna says, prepare the fleet. And then he says, prepare for war. And the ships are coming. The ships are coming. And so that's how that series leads off. Setting up the final arc, which I will get to next time. But really extremely well done, this final issue of the series. Prisoner of Bogan is my favorite arc in the Dawn of the Jedi comic series. I really like Force War because it's the conclusion. I'll talk about that later, but it was very rushed, and I'll talk about all of that later. But Prisoner of Bogan is really the most solid arc of Dawn of the Jedi. The comic, the story is really great. The setup is really great. Art, of course, as always, is amazing. I should just stop saying that with all of J.N. Summon's comics, because they're just all so solid and lifelike for the art. So, what do I give this issue? I give this one a 6 out of 10. It's one of my favorite issues of the series. But what about you guys?